Alright guys, we're really coming along now, so you're able to hit 20 consecutive pitch shots onto the green from about 20 yards. Good job. Let's keep pressing to get even a little bit better. So we're going to refine some of the things that we've learned along the way to get a little more control over the ball and be a little bit more familiar with how we can approach pitching with different tools. So the first thing we were going to talk about, and this carries over from our chipping just like many things do, is the loft of the club. The dynamic loft of the club has everything to do with the trajectory you're going to hit the ball on. So we're going to say that if we've got the handle leaned way forward, you can see that the club's de-lofted tremendously. And at the moment I'm striking the ball, that's my dynamic loft. Okay, so if I strike it with my hands way forward like that and the grip way forward, I'm going to take a lot of loft off of the club. The result will be a lower shot with probably more roll and a little bit less carry. Now, if I do the opposite and my grip is right above the club head as I strike the ball, my dynamic loft is greater. I add loft to the shot, I hit a little bit higher shot, it's generally going to fly higher and softer, land and roll less. Okay? Now, we also talked about in the past, when I open the club face, I'm going to see the ball go higher and to the right. If I close the club face, I'm going to see it fly lower and to the left. So I'm still on these pitch shots trying to just square my face and make sure that it's not one or the other too dramatically. Because I'm applying more force to the ball, because I'm making a longer swing now, the club face is going to be a little bit more sensitive than on those littler chip and pitch shots. And we're going to see the ball get off course a little bit easier. So I'm just going to demonstrate those real quickly. Then we're going to go over a couple of basic things that we want to carry over from chipping as well. But let's demonstrate. If I've got my face open, I'm just going to overdo it for example's sake. And I'm going to make a swing that goes about chest high to chest high. And we're going to see this ball leak out to the right a little bit. It was pretty high and soft, and once it landed, it stopped pretty quickly. Okay, it went about 20 yards in the air, and it stopped after 4 more yards, total of 25 yards. Now I'm going to close my club face dramatically. I'm going to make the same motion about chest high to chest high. And we're going to see that that ball goes aggressively to the left. It's much lower. We're going to see more roll, and let's see what the numbers say. So that ball flew 31 yards and went a total of 45, so way more roll, and it's a totally different golf shot. Now, our more ideal scenarios, if we have that face fairly square, then we get a moderate shot. It's not doing anything too severe, and this should be more of the go-to. So chest high to chest high. It's going to be somewhere in between those two, not flying incredibly long. Let's take a look at the numbers. So it flew 24 yards and rolled a little bit out to 29 yards. Okay, so that's what we can expect with a square club face, and that's important. On the shaft lean note, we don't want to be too excessive. We've talked about the fact that in these chip shots and now in our pitch shots, we're going to default to a shot off of the back foot where it's over here by my right foot, and there's a little bit of shaft lean there. But let's use this as a reference. My grip is not pointed left of my left belt buckle, okay? So I can be anywhere between my belt and my belt buckle, and I have a reasonable amount of shaft lean. If I start going a little too far and I get excessive and it's pointed outside of my left hip, I've gone way too far, and it causes a whole host of other issues, so let's try to avoid anything too dramatic with the shaft lean, okay? And the last thing I want to touch on to refine your motion now is the stability that we feel in the knees and the nose. This is a concept we've talked about in putting. This is a concept we've talked about in chipping, and we're going to carry it over here. So I want you to get some practice in feeling like those knees are particularly quiet and your nose is very quiet as well. We use this idea of somebody putting a club shaft right under your nose, and it would remain there through the entirety of the motion. And we're just going to get some repetitions focused on that. Square club face, moderate shaft lean, and we're just going to hit some pitch shots up onto the green for practice, okay? So let's get some practice in, get ready for your next test. Good job, guys.